What's up guys, Marco here and welcome to today's exciting video where I want to talk about picking the best Google Ads or Google Shopping niches for your e-commerce business. Now I know that there are so many people struggling with that, picking the best niche, picking the right one for your e-commerce business, and especially when just starting out with Google Ads. And I thought that I will give you some insights on like how to pick one, also some examples of good, actually very broad niches, but good niches that are quite suitable for beginners. And these are basically the same things that I keep in mind myself, and that I also, when I start something new, when I help others starting something new, these are the things that I recommend. It's not like as in depth as, for example, in my new Google Ads training where I have over a full hour only on that topic, but I still hope that this will be very valuable for you right here. So with this being said, the first thing that you have to know immediately is that a perfect niche or product on Facebook is not necessarily great on Google. And I think that probably many of you guys are already aware of that. But especially if you worked on Facebook so far and you learned a thing or two about, figuring out how to do product research or niche research, you absolutely have to be aware of the fact that on Google, it's entirely different. Now, sure, if you have a product that worked on Facebook so far and it sold like hundreds or 1,000-fold, then it makes sense to give it a quick try on Google as well. But else, just because you found a product on that may eventually work for Facebook, but it didn't work so far, I would just start the niche research or product research process from scratch if you jump to Google Ads. So when it comes to Google Ads in general, there are three main things that I'm looking for in Google Shopping or Google Ad products, but especially Google Shopping right here. The first thing is functionality. So functionality means that a product is, well, like the name says, it's a functional product that people want to buy because they want to solve a certain problem. Also, I'm looking for a high base price because that's much easier to do. And I'm looking for, a way to stand out. And I want to now go a little more in depth on these three different things here. So first of all, functionality, right? It is easier to convert someone on a product that solves a specific need or a problem than it is to converting them on something that is, totally emotionally driven in a way, or that is totally based on the person's personal taste. Now, I know that on Facebook, it's quite the opposite, right? You have some exciting video, you show it to people, and you hope that they will like it so much that they jump to your store and end up buying the product. But you already see how this doesn't make too much sense on Google, because people don't know exactly what drives them crazy and makes them super excited yet. So they look for things that they want to buy because they need them right now. And these are not typically not the super exciting things that you show them on Facebook that they are not really aware of. Also, it is way easier to do that if you use Google Search. So it's definitely true for Google Shopping, but even more so on Google Search, where, it's very hard to understand and translate a certain query into a certain product, which is easier to do on Shopping, where people at least see like a picture and the price, etc. of the product. Also, people might look for a solution for that problem without necessarily looking for your product directly. What I mean with that is that when, let's say, someone wants to, let's say, measure his, blood pressure or his fitness or his, what anything else might be, they might be looking for a search query like, how can I do that? And they are not even aware of the solution for that problem yet. And you might offer them a product that actually has the solution for that problem. Now, this is something that also just doesn't work with Facebook that way, but on Google, people might be buying your product not because they were looking for exactly that product, but because your product solved like their need for a certain thing. It could be something, related to home appliances. How do I don't know, what is the best way to water my plants or something, and then you give them the right product and stuff like that. Of course, it's harder than if people are looking for the exact product already, but it's definitely one way to convert those people. Then we go to price. And for price, price is really important when it comes to Google Shopping ads, because they usually have like a floor of 30 to 40 cents. So very rarely do you get clicks. You get clicks on Shopping for like 5 cents or 10 cents or something, right? It's almost impossible. You may eventually get it on Google Search for some queries, but on Shopping, I rarely see something like that. And because you have that floor, it automatically means that very cheap products that are like below $20 are extremely hard to sell profitably, right? If you can almost never get below like 30, 40 cents, especially in the US, especially with most of the common products, how would you sell $20 products or $15 products profitably? Usually, in order to do that, you would need either a great conversion rate of like 5% or more, which is not that easy as a dropshipper or small e-commerce business owner to really get there. Or you need like an insane funnels, insane funnel with upsells and all these things to maximize your AOV from those 20 to maybe 30, 40, $50, which is also not that easy. Or you need a very high customer lifetime value, which means you can sell to people over and over again, which again, not many dropshippers really do that, right? Most dropshippers just focus on the first initial sale because it's hard to sell to people over and over again. So these cheap products are just not suited for Google Shopping, also not really for Google Search, but especially for shopping. So instead, stick with $20 plus, ideally $40 to $50 plus items. Now, you don't need to sell high ticket items all the time, like I also recommend in some videos here on this channel, but usually the more expensive, the easier it gets. Like $100 is oftentimes easier than 50, and 50 is pretty much all of the time easier than 20, okay? This doesn't mean you have to sell $2,000 products now all the time, but orient yourself on this or really try to stick within these ranges of over $40 and $50. You can make exceptions, of course, when something is super hot or so, but it will definitely be easier to be in that range than not. And then we come to standing out. And this is always tough when you're a dropshipper, of course, without your very own product. But first of all, being one among 50 advertisers with the exact same product is really tough. So if you do a search for a product that you think is interesting, but you see like 50 advertisers selling this exact same product, using almost the exact same images, everything is the same, and even the price is roughly the same, it's very hard to really sell your product in there. And even if you do, it's more or less only based on luck, whether you are the one that the person picks, because there are 30 others, and chances are that you have to pay quite a lot to show at one of the very first positions. It will get very expensive, and things are just, quite hard again. So when you do your niche or product research, check for opportunities to stand out. So you should first of all look for niches where you don't have that massive overcrowded marketplace where everyone is selling the exact same product 500 times, which makes it extremely hard. You can check for niches where probably people are selling like 5 different variations of a product, or where, you have a few competitors selling all different items. Now, if you sell a very specific model of a product or a very specific, very specific item of a particular brand, of course, this is not really possible, because then, it's just that one model, and maybe 500 retailers may sell that exact same model. But if you are starting from scratch and you can just pick your niche, then check whether you can find like differences that you can use so that you can like sell this type of product within the niche, and 3 other competitors sell other products. And now it's way easier to also get some sales, because now it's also somewhat based on personal taste, which a person picks, and the price is not that important if you're not all selling the exact same product, because obviously with different products, different prices are normal, right? Whereas if you all sell the exact same products, people, most of them at least, will go with the cheapest option here. However, if you are in a super crowded niche, like I just said, it's definitely not impossible to not make good sales in there, but you should try an entirely different image than what those people are using. So if all use the same, try to stand out a little bit by using a different image, but you will see that most likely your click-through rate will increase, because you immediately capture the attention of a person. Also, use a different product if possible. So if you are in a niche that is super overcrowded, but you have like some sort of, you can play with different product options for a niche, then try whether other products that are not as hot and common will work better. Also try to use different pricing models. So if everyone is between like $30 and $40, you may want to check going lower than that. But this may be hard because of the profit margin. But you also may want to try going a little bit above that, and then you may be on the higher priced end, but at the same time you try to really optimize your store. You build like a dedicated landing page. You have some great upsells and funnels in place. You really design your store well, and you will see that eventually this will even generate some sales, even though people see that there are other cheaper options available. But of course, in this case, if you price yourself in the higher range, make sure that your store also looks and feels accordingly. And then we have unconventional titles and descriptions. So if everyone uses the same stuff, try to just use like different wording. Try totally different title. This has less of an impact than an image change, but it still has an impact. And regarding images and title changes, I can just tell that with one of my clients, just 2 days ago, we had a product that was already selling a ton on Google Shopping, but the click-through rate wasn't that great. We had like a 0.75% or 0.8% click-through rate. And when I changed the image to something entirely different, we had like 1.4, 1.5, so we doubled our click-through rate just by changing that particular image. And this is, these are some tests that I'm doing all the time with all the kind of different things, but definitely something that you should try out in order to stand out, get a high click-through rate, which also means you will pay less for a click, which means that your whole bottom line will look much, much better. So now that we talked about the theory and what are the other things that you can look for, what are some good examples for absolute beginners? And guys, as I said, these are some very broad niches. I wouldn't even call them niches, but just so that you roughly know what I mean with these things. So first of all, we have consumer electronics, right? There are probably millions of products in there, but the point is that they all have in common that they are very functional. People are looking for, like, let's say a 720p camera doing this, that, or an action cam or a drone or whatever, right? They are looking for these consumer electronic products. And here, sure, looks and appearance and stuff still matters, but it's not as important as in many, many other niches. And you can very easily target specific like features, right? You can target, as I just said, the resolution of a product. You can target the camera property of a product, or the battery. Many things that are possible there. Another one is tools and gadgets. So there are always new tools and gadgets coming up that are hot for some time, and they have like hundreds of thousands or even millions of searches a month. And you can just jump in there, use some Google Shopping ads to promote them in your store, and you will see that this is a pretty good category to try out. And also furniture and appliances. Now I talk about this a lot on this channel, especially in regards to high ticket, but furniture still is a pretty good niche to go into because you have massive margins if you do it the right way. You have like a very high price, you can afford a very high cost per click depending on your niche and competition. And actually by now, many of my students and also a few clients jumped into that space, and I see more and more successes in this furniture and appliance niche. Now, don't get me wrong, you definitely have to be skilled if you want to go in there, because competition is sometimes brutal and your store needs to look a little bit different than the average like AliExpress dropshipping store. But if you know a thing or two, and if you really, expand your skills and knowledge in Google Ads and, marketing strategy and these things, then furniture and appliances over time, you will see, will become very, very, very profitable for you if you do it right. And of course, there is much, much more. So there are probably, or not probably, there are actually more good than bad niches. But I just wanted to give you these 3 simple examples so that you know immediately what kind of direction and what kind of general categories I mean. So on the other hand, what are some bad examples for absolute beginners, right? So if you're, just starting out with Google Ads and you have a limited budget and everything, what are the things that you should avoid by all means? I'm not saying that these are, impossible to do. I know many people that do very well in them, but if you're starting now with a limited budget, I wouldn't recommend to use. For example, fashion and clothing. It's just quite hard because you have so many different products in each and every category. It all comes down to you have a ton of price wars in there. It's a lot about subjective things, and it's very hard to predict which product will do well. There is a very high brand loyalty towards certain brands, so people don't necessarily buy your $10 no-name jeans if they can buy their favorite brand. And at the same time, those brands, of course, also drive up the cost per click. Jewelry is also, one of those things. Yes, you can have super high margins if you buy something for $3 and sell it for 60 or so. But again, you have very high CPCs here. Sometimes it's very hard to even just make a handful of sales. And it's, again, a lot of personal taste. It can work well if you have like a super dedicated jewelry niche store that looks really, really good. But if you just want to make some tests, I'm definitely not really recommending that. And then also you have some other accessories, right? So in regards to fashion, but just accessories that are all about the looks, it's just quite difficult to succeed with that with a low budget and when you're just starting out. And in the end, POD, so print on demand, same thing here again. If you just have your custom-made t-shirts and stuff like that, first of all, you need to keep an eye on the search volume for that individual design. Probably there isn't too much, but then again, usually prices are or you sell it for pretty low and your competitors may bid quite a lot, and this will just be quite difficult. So remember, these are just examples for low-hanging fruit, so the one that I recommend. You don't have to switch your niche or reinvent your business just because of these. So if you have a business that is running right now and you like invested quite some time and money into your store, probably you're running successful ads already, of course you don't have to, of course you shouldn't switch the niche at all. It's totally fine. But if you start now, like if you want to, go into a niche that will most likely result in some success, then I recommend that you pick a niche in congruence what we just discussed. So keeping these things in mind and really, thinking about them when you pick your next niche, so that you really have these things that you should keep an eye on, but only then. So don't like destroy your current business, start from scratch again just because your business wasn't in that niche here so far, in that list here so far. It's really something for newcomers or for those that have just like started the store a week ago, and it's no problem to start another one right away. So that is just a little reminder that this is not, the worst thing in the world if you don't have a business in that list here. And ultimately, guys, that was it about today's video here. I hope it was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about Google Ads and how to succeed with it in e-commerce, how to pick products, niches, design your ads and all these kind of things, in just a few days I will overhaul my complete eCom PPC Academy. I actually wanted to get it done in the end of January already, but it was just so much new content that I'm updating. As I said, product testing, product choosing, niches, shopping ads, mastery of shopping ads, actually how to get in front of your competitors, and so on and so forth. So I'm still not entirely done with the new version, but if you get the old one, you will be updated and upgraded to the new one for free when it's out in hopefully like a week or so. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it and this was helpful for you. If it was, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more e-commerce and Google Ads and marketing tactics. Yeah, I hope that I will see you in the next lesson as well. And leave a comment if you have a specific question on that, or if you are in one of those niches that we just discussed. So thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye-bye.